everybody, man? This is your guy, Manny, and this is another segment for Talking Sports with Manny. This particular video is for the Washington football fans. I know that Allen Robinson is a huge target. Allen Robinson is probably the best wide receiver on the free agency market right now as we speak. Now, there's some speculations that Allen Robinson might be tagged in the in free agency. It might not even get to hit free agency, but I think that he does hit free agency, and I think that Allen Robinson is probably going to be a huge target for the football team. We seen last year they went after Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper decided to go to Dallas, even though Washington offered more money. Obviously, you're playing with Dak Prescott, a guy who's established already, so I don't fault them for doing that. But I think this year, Ron Rivera and Cole try to make a splash and get in Allen Robinson. You look at Allen Robinson, his rookie season, he didn't do all that great. You know, he had 48 receptions, 548 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that second season was when you started to see the greatness of Allen Robinson. 80 catches, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. Granted, they were losing a lot, so they were coming back a lot, but it doesn't matter because you know where the ball is going to. Right? If you know where the ball is going to, and defenses knew that, how come they were not able to stop at Allen Robinson? The guy is elite, man. He's crispy, route runner. He just hype pins catches and everything, and he's not a guy that is going to wow you with top speed. But if he does come to Washington, you have a Terry McLaurin on the other side. That means less double teams. He's definitely is going to destroy man to man every single time. And then vice versa, if he comes to Washington, Terry McLaurin is going to be a guy that gets to blow up. So you can't double team each of those guys. And you have a guy like Logan Thomas. Then you don't even know what the football team is going to do during the draft or free agency in terms of adding another tight end to help this offense. Then you have, the specialist in J.D. McKissic, who you have to look out for, because if all eyes are on Allen Robinson and Terry McLaurin, and guess what? J.D. McKissic gets to eat. So the offense can be very dynamic. And just imagine if the offense is able to add a elite type slot wide receiver in the draft. Let's say a Rondale Moore. Let's say Washington trades back from 19 and still able to get a Rondale Moore late in the first round or maybe in the second round. So just imagine what the offense can look like. Now, there are 2 reasons why Allen Robinson might not want to come to DC. Number one, who the heck is playing quarterback? Well, you can make a pitch like, we have one of the best defenses in the league. We're ready to win now. And with you coming here, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is because there's enough weapons. So you can picture Allen Robinson like, you're coming here and we're going to be getting you a nice slot wide receiver as well to also take attention off of you. Not only that, you have a J.D. McKissic, you have an Antonio Gibson, and you can still add another running back via free agency, right? So that can be the pitch until you try to maybe trade for a Sam Darnold, you try to trade for whoever veteran quarterback that the team is looking for, as well as maybe drafting a guy to groom. So there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of who is playing quarterback. That's going to be the biggest knock on trying to get Allen Robinson. But money talks. As a free agent, I always encourage every free agent to go and get as much money as you can. People say, I want to go to a winning organization. I want to go to a winning team. Nothing is guaranteed. Every player that went to the Kansas City Chiefs last year to try to win this year, it didn't happen. You look at Trent Williams. He went to San Francisco thinking that they were going to be a playoff team. It didn't happen. So anything can happen. It's best to get your money while you can. You can't be out here giving discounts. Now, you can discount, $1 million or $2 million, but in terms of if Washington is offering this guy top 3 wide receiver money, and then he takes less to go somewhere else, like, he leaves $5 to $10 million on the table or $15 million on the table, that's crazy. I always say, go get your money while you can get your money. And Allen Robinson is still a very young wide receiver. Now, let's look at what Allen Robinson did year 3. He had 883 yards receiving. He had 6 touchdowns and 73 receptions that year. So any receiver that's getting anywhere between 70 to 100 receptions is a very good wide receiver. You got to be able to catch the ball. You got to be able to get open. Now, in that 4th year was where Allen Robinson got hurt, right? So he gets hurt, and then he takes that 3-year deal with the Chicago Bears, where that first year he had 55 yards and 754 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. A lot of guys were down on Allen Robinson. Even those guys who play fantasy football were down on Allen Robinson. They're like, man, I don't think this guy's elite. Oh, it was a fluke. Everything he did in Jacksonville was a fluke. It was because, garbage points, garbage yards, blase. But then now, entering year 5, There's been some, some offensive changes. You bring in a coach like Nagy, who has a decent type offense. They had David Montgomery. They had some pieces, but if you notice, the Chicago Bears still are not known for their offense. They still don't even have receiving weapons or threats. So Allen Robinson was able to get 98 receptions in 2019 for 1,100 plus yards and 7 touchdowns. The very next year, which was last year, he had 102 receptions for 1,200 yards plus and 6 touchdowns. So in the last 2 years, you can safely say that he's averaging 100 catches a game. You can safely say he's averaging about almost 1,200 yards, okay, and 6.5 touchdowns. So you're telling me that a wide receiver who's averaging 100 catches, 1,200 yards, and 6.5 touchdowns is available in free agency? Of course he's the top target. Of course you go and try to get you an Allen Robinson, right? I mean, if he comes to this team, like I said before, you pair him with Terry McLaurin, regardless of who the quarterback is, whether it's Kyle Allen, whether it's Taylor Heinicke. When you surround lesser talented quarterbacks with weapons everywhere, that gives them a higher percentage rate of succeeding. Now, I'm not saying that Taylor Heinicke is a savior. I'm not saying that Kyle Allen is going to be a Pro Bowler. What I am saying is that if you are going to go the cheap route of quarterback, or maybe you draft a young guy that's probably not going to start out as a starter anyways, you go ahead and you try to surround them with as much weapons as possible. Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson. Try to get you a legit guy in the slot while you can still groom your AGGs and Cam Sims and all these different guys that you have. You can still have those guys, but you got to go and upgrade this position. You can still upgrade tight end too, right? You can still upgrade the RB2 position. So you want to go ahead and stockpile talent on the offensive side of the ball, which has been the weakest point of this football team. But I'm going to go ahead and run some Allen Robinson highlights, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Allen Robinson, great catch.
It's off the ball, hard inside here, going against Tony Brown, who is actually filling in for Kevin King. But then that's the magic. That's the reason you go get Allen Robinson. That's what he did when he played.
This is the 9th Chicago drive. They've had 7 punts and a field goal. Play action, has time, throws, and coming back to make the catch, the 45. Is Allen Robinson.
Execution right there. Watch this play down the field. I think Robinson was actually past Tony Brown and still got the back shoulder. He had to come.
3rd down and 10 now, back to the 49-yard line. And only a 3-man rush this time. 8 drop back. And the pass is caught at the 35-yard line. Robinson, big-time play.
The ball in his hand. He's a weapon.
Inside the 30 to the 29-yard.
But only 9 seconds remain.
Of course, you have to get the first down to have that opportunity.
And whatever they have to do it in a hurry. Trubisky can't find a receiver and fires. And the pass is caught, and down he goes, as you said. Robinson goes down,
And you see what I'm saying? With a quarterback like Trubisky, who's not like talented, he's not anything special. But he's able to move around in the pocket and able to hit an open Allen Robinson. Are you telling me that Taylor Heinicke can't do that? I mean, we can debate who's better, Taylor Heinicke or Trubisky. Yeah, Trubisky was drafted in the 1st round. Yes, he's, has the pedigree, being, a starter in North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? I don't even know. Look, Trubisky, he hasn't done anything in the NFL, okay? But he has been a starter. He has been serviceable, but he's not a quarterback that can win games. But then you're able to see that he's able to move the ball. And these are 2019 highlights with Allen Robinson, and God knows who else was on the other side. You had a Tariq Cohen, which we have a J.D. McKissick. So you can do a lot of dynamic things with Allen Robinson and a mobile quarterback. But at the end of the day, just look at how that offense opens up. And this is just Allen Robinson as the focal point, okay? They don't have anybody as good as Terry McLaurin. They don't have a running back as good as Antonio Gibson. They don't have a tight end like Logan Thomas. So look at the endless possibilities.
Tony Brown and still got the back shoulder. He had to come.
3rd down and 10 now, back to the 49-yard line. And only a 3-man rush this time. 8 drop back. And the pass is caught at the 35-yard line. Robinson, big-time play, takes it inside the 30 to the 29-yard.
But only 9 seconds remain.
Of course, you have to get the first down to have that opportunity.
And whatever they have to do it in a hurry. Trubisky can't find a receiver and fires, and the pass is caught, and down he goes, as you said. Robinson goes down, and the clock has zeros showing right now.
Oh, Mitch Trubisky first. Let's give it to him. He's buying time right here. He climbs the pocket, which always affects the defense. He finds his receiver. Now look, get down.
2nd and goal from the 4. Daniel throws. Touchdown, Robinson.
This is another area that Allen Robinson can really help his team, and it's in the red zone. Red zone efficiency is going to go skyrocket with a guy like Allen Robinson. He knows how to manipulate defenses. He knows how to get open in the red zone, and he definitely has a hand. You know, he's a big type wide receiver, so he's able to pinpoint the ball at the highest peak. But at the same time, he's savvy enough to run some crazy routes in because you know, when you get into that end zone, when you get into that red zone area, the field gets smaller. So it's a smaller space to maneuver, and he's one of the best in the league at doing it.
Daniel with the fade. Robinson, touchdown. Beating Garion Conley.
You guys remember in that playoff game, and everybody's going crazy about when Taylor Heineke had the game of his life, and he was able to hit Steve Sims on a play where Steve Sims caught the ball and, you know, toe drag swag out the end zone. Just imagine a play like that with Allen Robinson. I mean, the possibilities are infinite, man. And look, you get an Allen Robinson paired with a Terry McLaurin, man, it automatically puts this team as a top 10 offense in the NFL. No doubt about that.
Allen Robinson at the kickoff.
Well, here's our guy, Allen Robinson, on the double move, and what a wonderful route. Here you see him fake the slant, then he just gets to the go. Beautifully thrown ball by Dan.
From the end zone, Daniel, and going deep. And the pass is incomplete. Let's see what they call it. The collision was made. Looked like the hit was made, sending the receiver out of bounds, but right now they've ruled it a completed pass.
9-7. Saints in front. We begin the second quarter on a 2nd down and 10. Trubisky had to get rid of it quickly. And that's Allen Robinson, still on his feet, down to the 35-yard line. 4th down and goal. Trubisky to the end zone. And connects with Allen Robinson.
So, guys, I can go on and on about Allen Robinson, but what I want you guys to do is to let me know in the comments what you guys think about Allen Robinson. Let me know what you guys think the offense would look like with Allen Robinson, and let's say that Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen is the quarterback to start this year. Let me know, is that actually going to work? Is it going to be a productive offense with, let's say, a lesser quarterback and an Allen Robinson in a first round, maybe a 2nd round, top tier wide receiver? So, guys, this is your guy, Manny. Thank you guys for listening, and this is another episode of Talking Sports with Manny.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.